Yeah, and I remember talking to you about this on that first conversation. So I've never been overweight. I haven't, and I felt like I didn't get support for wanting to feel the way that I felt. I knew I wasn't my best. That's what the problem was. I knew that I wasn't overweight, and I knew, oh, you only have a few pounds to lose, you're fine, or you look great in your clothes or whatever. But I didn't feel confident. I didn't feel good. And nobody got that. Like, even all of like the programs and the meal plans, it was all of this, there's nothing wrong with the large, weight loss numbers, but I was like, I just need to get back to me, to my old self, to not worrying about all of the items that I can't wear in my closet. Like I had to get out of that headspace. And you understood that because not everybody gets it. Everybody wants to just kind of brush me off and say, oh, you don't really need to do anything, or all you have to do is just go for a walk or something and you'll be fine. It wasn't that easy. I was struggling a lot.
Hi honeys, it's Emmie. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Emmie. I am a nutritionist and the creator of the Slim on Starch program, where my clients lose anywhere from the last few pounds to up to 70 pounds and counting. So if you want to work with me and then we can work together so that you can get to your weight loss goals, then go ahead and go to healthyemmie.org or just click the link that is in the down bar. Also make sure that you hit subscribe and then you turn on that notification bell so that you can be notified every time the hottest Healthy Honey news comes out about plant-based weight loss. Today's video is amazing, and I'm allowed to say that because I am not the star of the show in today's video. The star of the show is my client, Autumn. Autumn is going to inspire you like you would not believe, because you're gonna see her energy, you're gonna feel her energy, and you're gonna say, I wanna be her. And the best thing is that Autumn was you. As we're going to talk about with Autumn's story, she came from a place where she was struggling with her weight, and she was thinking about food all the time, and she tried diet after diet after diet, and I think you're really going to connect with her, and this is going to give you a lot of hope to say, I can do this too. Autumn is going to inspire you with her story, and I am confident that you are going to see so much of yourself in her and her story, which proves to you that if you see yourself in her story, then that means that her current reality is a possibility for you. And her current reality, honey, let me just say that she got to the place where she said to me, Emmie, I need to stop losing weight. I never thought I would say this. I have to pin my pants together, and my fashion is very important to me. She said, I weigh less than I did on the day that I married my husband, and she has had 3 kids. Now, I know you're probably just dying to hear about Autumn and her story, so let's go ahead and jump into it. But before we do, please leave a comment and say thank you, Autumn, because Autumn donated her time and she was vulnerable enough to tell her story with the hopes that it would inspire somebody watching this video. So please just leave a comment and say thank you, Autumn. All right, so here we are with Autumn, my star of a client, and a star in more ways than one, because as we were just talking about, she's been on movie screens, commercials, photo shoots. As you can tell, she's beautiful. She's a model. She's an actress.
Thank you.
So Autumn, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am a wife of almost 14 years and a mother of 3. I have a daughter who's 10, a son who's 7, and another daughter who's 5. I am a manager on my job, and I work full time. And also on the side, I do a little bit of modeling and acting. A little bit.
She's very modest. All right, beautiful. And when people see you, there's no way they're going to believe that you're a mom, but I can attest to it. I've seen her kids. They're gorgeous. Awesome. So how did we get here, Autumn? How did we get to the point that you and I were working together?
Well, ever since I had kids, before I had kids, I didn't think about my weight or my body shape or anything like that. It just was what it was. I was happy and just wasn't thinking about it. And then after kids, I just noticed like I wasn't happy with the way I looked or felt in my clothes. And so I started dieting. And I, did exercise and, restriction diets and programs and workout programs and, meal plans and all of that for years. I mean, I told you my oldest daughter is 10. So for 10 years, I've kind of been on a roller coaster. And there was a little success here and then it would wear off or complete fails most of the time. So I was looking for something that worked with my lifestyle and came across you.
Well, I remember in our first conversation, I was stalking Autumn's Instagram before we got on the phone. Just something that I like to do. But something that I noticed about Autumn was she had incredible fashion sense. And that was something that we talked about on
Thank
our
you.
first phone call. And I remember you saying, fashion is something that means so much to me. And that passion is something that I can't really access and have had trouble accessing because I've been struggling with my weight. Could you speak to that a little bit and how that was weighing on you?
Yeah, I mean, doing the modeling and acting on the side and being a fashionista, just kind of really enjoying, styling myself. Um, I it was hard because I people might think it was superficial or anything like that, but I enjoy the way I present myself to the world. I enjoy styling myself so that I give the best presentation of myself wherever I go. And I was struggling with that because I didn't want to, wear the clothes that I had because they didn't look good. I wasn't feeling good outside of my clothes. So, I felt like I had to kind of strategically dress in order to feel good. And it wasn't working. And at one point I kind of felt maybe ashamed, like, well, why do I care so much, about how I look? Why is it so important? But I just think it's tied to who I am. Everyone doesn't have to be that way, but it's just who I am. And I have to accept that. And then I had to do something about it. And I didn't want to just wallow in, not feeling my best.
You said something there, and I want to thank you for saying it because it's hard to be vulnerable and to say that thought that I think a lot of people have, which is I feel ashamed about the fact that I don't like what my body looks like because you have three beautiful kids, you have a great job, you have a husband, and people will say to you, Autumn, you're beautiful. You have a great life. You don't need to lose a pound. And so you sort of feel that guilt. But like you said, Autumn, you said, it's deeper than that. It's not just about what we look like. There's a lot more that goes on.
Yeah, and I remember talking to you about this on that first conversation. So I've never been overweight. I haven't, and I felt like I didn't get support for wanting to feel the way that I felt. I knew I wasn't my best. That's what the problem was. I knew that I wasn't overweight and I knew, oh, you only have a few pounds to lose, you're fine, or you look great in your clothes or whatever. But I didn't feel confident. I didn't feel good. And nobody got that. Like even all of like the programs and the meal plans, it was all of this, there's nothing wrong with the large, weight loss numbers, but I was like, I just need to get back to me, to my old self, to not worrying about, all of the items that I can't wear in my closet. Like I had to get out of that headspace. And you understood that because, not everybody gets it. Everybody wants to just kind of brush me off and say, oh, you don't really need to do anything, or all you have to do is just, go for a walk or something and you'll be fine. It wasn't that easy. I was struggling a lot.
But that is something that you do not experience anymore. And actually in your check-in the other day, you said something that I honestly just want to like rip it off and just say what it was, which was you were on vacation and you'd been a little bit like you hadn't been as involved in the program. Autumn did Slim on Starch and now she's in the master's program. And you said, do you want to say what it is that you said? Because we
Yeah,
hadn't
yeah,
really
yeah.
heard from you. Go
So
for it.
I hadn't been keeping up with my journal entries and my food diary. And in my check-in, I just said, hey guys, don't worry. I want you to know that I'm not keeping up, not because I'm not on the program. I'm still on the program. I'm not keeping up because I'm living my life. I am finally free from thinking about what I'm eating all the time and how much how much calories these are and what is, everything was natural and flowing. And finally, I was able to just like put it on autopilot and focus on the other things in my life, my family, my career, the way I feel, my style, all of that. So I just was like, don't worry about my missed entries because it's a good thing.
When I saw that, I like wanted to jump up and down. I was so happy because doesn't it feel like you're sort of like a kid again? Because kids, they don't think about food. They eat and then they go play and they're just happy. And were you in the
Yeah,
same position? You're like, I want to get back to just being normal.
Yeah, I was obsessed. Like it was, what am I eating? When's the next meal and the next meal after that? And what it's going to be comprised of and where can I get it and how am I going to get it and how am I going to feed my family? And, we have to eat two different things and, all of that. And then all of that just to not be successful at it. Like it was awful. And now, I mean, my family eats what I eat. I literally don't even think about it. It's kind of like we just it's just so simple now. And there is no stress at all whatsoever. I can't even believe I'm saying this. I really feel free from food right now.
So what's the difference? Because you're doing a program now and you've done tons of programs in the past. So what's the difference? What worked this time? What are you doing differently?
I want to say the way it wasn't, I don't even want to say you explain a lot, but not even your explanation, just the visual of this is as simple as it gets. This is what you need to eat. Just make it look like this. And I was like, what? That's it? And honestly, it's so easy to think about. And then when you so more than that, once you give the visual and then you give all the options that you can just plug into the formula, it's just, I'm a chemist by trade. So formulas are my thing. And once you made it that simple, here's the formula, plug in the numbers, you can switch them out and you'll still get the right answer. It's just been that easy. Mm-hmm. And because, like you said, being like kids, my kids are simple. They don't need, we don't need all of these complicated, multi-level things. So it just was so simplified and it worked for everybody. So it's not even just me. It's my whole family, my husband, my kids, and you know this. Once a week, I get together with my extended family.
I was going to mention that. I'm so happy you did.
We take turns providing the meal, and it's easy now. I just can't even explain it, and it's fun, and they enjoy it too. So I don't know. You just made it easy the way you formulated your program, and it works for me.
So let's talk more about that because you have 3 kids, you have a husband, and that is the hardest thing for people is they say, what am I going to feed my husband? What am I going to feed my kids? So what do you feed your husband and your kids?
I don't know what I was doing before. Because what I'm going to say, it just sounds so simple. Like, why didn't you do that before? But I don't know. They love the same thing that I love. We eat grains for breakfast, oatmeal, fruit. These are all things that they've always loved. I don't know what we were doing before.
What were you doing before? What were you guys eating before?
I want to say, there was a lot of before So before your program, and you know this, I went vegan to at the beginning of the year, and the beginning of the year that I started your program, and it I I felt good morally, but it wasn't giving me the weight loss results that I needed. So, but I was the only one that went vegan, so nobody was really eating what I was eating. And so my family was still eating meat. And so it would be like eggs and sausage, or, that was pretty much it. Some sort of meat and eggs all the time. And once I said, okay, in the house, when I prepare a meal, everybody's going to eat it. Okay. I started making oatmeal, breakfast potatoes, fruit spreads. And they were like, oh my gosh, this is so good. And it's almost like they didn't notice that there wasn't anything else there. So that's kind of a no-brainer. And then for dinner, I mean, oh my God, do you know how many programs there are where you can't eat potatoes? Like, but if you say potato, people will die. Like, that's how dangerous potatoes are. But let me tell you, potatoes are the most comforting, filling, delicious food ever, and my kids love them. Okay, you get some potatoes and some salsa or some ketchup, and they will just shovel it down. I mean, and just vegetables. Like, we ate vegetables before, but I don't know. It was very complicated. I don't know if it was like it had to be mixed in some other meal. But now when I roast a pan of broccoli, they come running and they eat it all in one night. Like, where is all the broccoli that I made like 2 pounds? Where, so lots of roasted vegetables, lots of, some rices and stir fries. I mean, they love it all. It's just, and it's so easy. So that's what we eat. It's just super easy.
I think is so insightful is you keep saying, like, I can't even remember what we used to do before. Whereas with most diets, quote unquote, you're longing for, the pizza, the fried chicken, like whatever it is. And you're like, what were we doing before this?
You know what I think it is? Before, and I think that maybe I grew up this way, every meal was meat. Like, that was what the meal was. It was like, what are we having for dinner? Chicken. There might be other stuff, but it wasn't ever said. It was like, we're having chicken, or we're having steak, or we're having, pork chops, or like, and then whatever else was a side was just a side. And so because that has been eliminated, I don't even remember what happened. I mean, I don't even remember what those meals were like. So, and it's really great. I just feel so good because my kids are eating so many vegetables. So not only do I feel good because I look good, I feel good as a parent because I know that they're getting the nutrients that they need and they like it. So there's this movie, this Disney movie that they like to watch. And I remember watching this video about, there's a scene in the movie where the kid is being disgusted at a plate of broccoli, like, ew. And over in Japan, they had to reanimate that part because in Japan, those kids love vegetables. And so I was like, those are my kids now. They would be like, why doesn't she want to eat the broccoli? What's wrong? So like that part. So not only do I feel good physically, I feel good morally and psychologically with how I'm feeding my family. So.
And do your kids even realize that they're eating such a healthy diet, or is it just, this is what mom gives us and we eat it and they move on?
I think as a parent, because I'm always, in teaching mode, they know because I'm telling them, but they're not thinking like, oh, this is like a super healthy diet. But it's so cute, My son, you know, he'll say, like, he'll get an apple or an orange and be like, Mom, this is vegan. Oh yeah. I mean, you know, he's just so excited because, you know, he knows that eating fruits and vegetables and potatoes is healthy, and he feels good about it. So.
And your kids are adorable. Autumn will post photos of her kids in the Facebook group. I remember the first time your son asked for salad, you posted a picture in the Facebook group. You were like, my child asked for salad.
Oh my gosh, listen to me. So this week we had two big wins in my family. Two of my kids did some amazing things at school. And so we said, we're going to treat you guys. Anything you want to eat. Where do you want to go? What are you craving? What do you want? Guess where we ended up going? Sushi.
No.
They wanted sushi and they wanted edamame for the appetizer. Seriously.
You're doing God's work over there.
What?
I
yes,
think
sushi.
These might be my future kids. I have to come snatch them up. And you know what that reminds me of? Your first date that you had with Robert when you were on the program. So Autumn and I ended up talking way longer than this, and this is why I am separating this interview into 2 separate videos. So if you want part 2, you gotta comment below and say yes, please. I know that you guys want the rest of this interview right now, and I can't blame you because Autumn rocks. The second part of this interview is coming, and if you want it to be my next video, then leave a comment and I might hook it up for you. I love you, honeys, and I'll see you in my next video. Woo!